What's up, guys? Today I want to bring something up that I remembered based off a comment that my brother and mother made recently. And I was like, you know what? I have a memory of an incident that happened to my brother when he was a little boy. And I remember this mess, and I remember how understandably upset mom was. And now that I'm older, I just want to share the story so that you guys can hopefully tell me how you feel about this situation that I am pretty sure you're going to know what I am talking about as soon as I share it. And that is, I think my brother was in like seventh grade or something. Mom always raised him, telling him, "You're never supposed to hit girls. You treat ladies with respect. You never touch a woman, not even with the petal of a flower. You're supposed to defend girls. You're supposed to take care of girls. Girls need help. Girls need protection. Yada, yada, yada." Well, at some point in seventh grade, some fucking bitch decided that it would be cute to mistreat him and even scratch him. I feel like he got scratched on the shoulder and also got scratched on the face. I don't remember exactly, but basically, when that happened, my mom was like, "What did you do?" And then my brother was like, "Well, you've told me that I cannot hit girls." So, long story short, my brother was being mistreated by a girl, but he did not defend himself because of the way my mother was raising him. So, I'm thinking, now that I am older, now that I'm an adult, if I see someone, let it be a brother, a boyfriend, a little boy, a grown ass man, if someone is hitting you, I personally think that because whether it is someone who is mediocre when it comes to their physical strength, if someone is messing with you, I think you have a right to defend yourself. I think you have a right to hit back, pretty much. Because if people are really that concerned about their personal safety, they're not going to try to instigate a fight. So, why would I try to start hitting someone, especially someone who very easily will have an advantage over me, just because I think it's cute and I want to get away with it. See what I mean? So I'm so sick of this bullshit that for some reason guys cannot defend themselves against women. Now, I'm not saying you guys definitely start picking fights with women. You guys definitely start hitting women out of the blue, just like women for some reason find it cute to hit guys, especially muscular guys. Sure, you may be able to take it, but just because a guy is buff, I'm pretty sure that they don't appreciate being like having their arms squeezed or punched or being pushed and shit to see how strong you are. See what I mean? So, where do you draw the line? Where is the double standard when it comes to that? Because now that I'm remembering that story, I also remember a story that my boyfriend told me about how other girls just be going all up to him and just he like is super ripped, so he gets his arms squeezed and punched sometimes, and I'm like, you ever gonna hit back? You know what I'm saying? What do you think would happen if you hit back? I understand why he doesn't. He would not pick a fight like that. He wouldn't start anything. But why don't people just keep their hands to themselves? See what I mean? So you guys feel free to share your opinions, share your thoughts, or any personal experiences that you have. Does it bother you when you get hit? I would imagine that you do get bothered because, I mean, that's just not respectful. So, what do you encourage? If you had a son who's getting messed with by little girls, would you tell him, "Oh, you have to take it like a man, even if she pulls out a knife"? Like, I know that's extreme, but see what I'm saying? That very easily could make them susceptible to allowing the situation to escalate to where it would become too late and it would be difficult for them to defend themselves. See what I'm saying? So if I ever hear a story of one of y'all just telling me that you're in trouble because you hit a girl because you were defending yourself, I'm gonna be like, where can I go to defend you? Because seriously, I'm so sick of this. Like the double standard for some reason, men cannot hit women. No, if you're getting beat up, if you're getting mistreated, you have a right to lay a finger on the other person. Like, I would do it. Like, I'm a girl, of course, I'm going to be naturally feeling inclined to want to defend myself. But if I have a son, I do not want for him to be tolerating that kind of bullshit. It doesn't matter if it comes from a little girl or from a grown ass woman. If you're getting hit, you have a right to defend yourself, even if you overpower this person a lot. So, anyways, that's pretty much it from me. So now I'm going to catch up with what you guys have to say. But you guys hopefully will get what I'm saying. Garuda says hi. JP says good morning, good evening. Sorry, I don't get my butt kicked because I do not put my hands on anyone. And you see, normally all of the guys who are present in my social circle, they're not people who lay their hands on anybody. But for some reason, everyone else just does that. So I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Are you just sitting there and tolerating this? I guess it doesn't bother you, but at the same time, you shouldn't have to put up with that. So if you ever decide that you want for the person to just stop messing with you have a right to defend yourself. And if you start striking people and breaking people's bones, I'm on your side because you have a right to defend yourself. That's all I'm saying. So I got kicked in the holes 4 times in grade school by girls, and I could not fight back. I cannot hit a girl unless she has a deadly weapon. So, is that something that was imposed onto you by your parents? Is it a cultural thing? Is it you voluntarily say, I will never hit a woman because it doesn't feel right, seem right, look right, it's not acceptable by society? But I mean, if you're getting hit to where you're experiencing pain, again, you have a right to get back to that person, I think. Like, if I know someone who's trying to pull my hair, which this happens a lot, I take that fucking hand and you know, like, I don't care. I'm not afraid of slapping people. Like, fortunately, I've never done that to anybody, but I have, like, slapped hands before they touch me. Like, there's the person who tries to, I don't know, caress my face for some reason, and I just go like, I've done that before. Don't touch me. So if touching is something that you cannot just be going up to random people and doing, why is hitting any better? I think that's worse. So I'm just saying, if I have a son, I am going to raise him to hit anything that hits him. Let it be a little girl, let it be a grown ass woman, let it be a teenage girl, let it be an old ass woman. If you feel like you cannot take it, if you feel like you don't want to tolerate that, if you feel any kind of pain, any kind of discomfort, hit back. Like, I'm just saying, you shouldn't tolerate that. Why is that okay? Especially if you're feeling pain. So, I don't know. Like, I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm instigating violence or anything, or like I'm encouraging that. But again, what the fuck? You can defend yourself. Do it. I don't care what shape the being that is hitting you and inflicting pain on you is. Just defend yourself. So I feel like there probably is going to be some folks who are going to be like, oh, how dare you say that? But like I said, I'm just trying to think about the kids that I want to have in the future. I do not want to come home to my child fucking bleeding from the face because he's telling me, Mom, you told me not to hit girls, so I got scratched in the face by one of them. What? No! No! I don't care. You go. We will deal with the consequences later. But I do not want to see you coming home all bloodied up when you could have prevented that. To me, your safety is more important than anybody else's. Just like my personal safety is always going to be more important than anybody else's. Because ain't nobody out there going to take care of me. So I'm the one who has to take care of herself. And I think everyone individually has to ensure their individual safety. But it just upsets me. Like, I remember my brother having that experience, my boyfriend having that experience, past boyfriends that I've had told me about experiences like that. And like, for some reason, everyone else can get away with hitting a guy, but this is the shit that no one talks about. Like, the double standard aspect of it. Like, no, I don't think it's okay. I don't go around hitting people just because I think that I have a privileged spot in society that would allow for me to get away with that. No, no. So, anyways, I'm glad that you folks see where I'm coming from. I am surprised that this trend hitting a girl or guy uncivilized trend still exists. It is supposed to have gone with Ice Age. I think that we are naturally just violent people, so some people end up more easily domesticated than others. And I think that your upbringing might have a lot to do with that because this is the issue that my brother had. My mom was trying to inculcate as much discipline on him as possible. But because of that, because my brother had so much integrity on that aspect, he allowed for people to abuse him. And people who do not have any kind of discipline saw that he, no matter what, would not defend himself. So he was being taken advantage of to where people are like, ah, oh, this dude, you can beat him up. He's never going to strike back. So, see what I'm saying? In an attempt for my mother to bring up a child who is going to eventually turn into a grown man who is not violent, she created someone who is not defending himself, and he may end up susceptible to being a victim of violence because he's not going to strike back. But also, if he were to get fed up enough to where he strikes back, that may be the moment where he completely annihilates someone. See what I mean? So, how do you even begin to cope with that? How can you teach someone the balance of you only strike back when you feel you are endangered or when you feel like that is the way out? Because, like I said, now that I think about it, my mother was trying to do the right thing, bring up a guy who's not violent. But then he ended up being the victim of violence and he was not defending himself. What do you do then as a parent? It has to be one of the most frightening things ever because you feel like from that point onward, you have to undo everything that you have educated your child with, and you have to implement a degree of violence into their routine so that they understand that certain restrictions apply. My brother took it as universally, no matter what, you must not hit a woman. And I'm like, no, you can hit absolutely anybody if you feel like you're in danger. So if I had a child who does that, like, I get called to the principal's office because my son broke a girl's arm or something. I'm like, what happened? Oh, you were defending yourself? Good job. Good job. That's what you do. Like, again, even if the girl is, in the grand scheme of things, not threatening, he has a right to defend himself. End of story. Well, on my part. The police will lock the guy up and let the girl go. Exactly. But again, nobody ever talks about that. 40% of men's visits to the ER are due to domestic violence against them. And again, nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. For some reason, women are still the disadvantaged group, and no one talks about the shit that happens to guys that is very real and very life threatening for them. So, again, I'm not an expert on this matter. I'm only speaking from the experiences that other guys have shared with me about how they have been abused. Some of them were minor, but some of them are actually quite significant. That statistic has to come from somewhere, and I believe it. I'm pretty sure because There are guys who would not be able to defend themselves because they're like, oh, who's going to believe my side of the story that I was hitting a woman based on self defense? You know, like you're always on the losing end of things, but nobody talks about that. So, but anyways, I'm just glad that people are becoming more aware now. So, in a sense, equality is good from that point of view because it's like, okay, now we are hopefully headed toward a direction where laws will apply to everyone equally. Of course, it will never be executed perfectly, but one can hope, right? My mom told me not to hit women, I won't hit them back. Yes, my mama told me if the girls want to play with the boys, let them. I hit too hard and I cannot hold back. If I hit a girl over a hand to hand dispute, odds are I might kill her, so I will just take the abuse. And again, that's the thing. I acknowledge that. So, with that said, why on God's green earth would girls try to pick a fight with a beast that can take them down if they decided to, like, explode? I don't expect for guys to remain docile at all times. See what I mean? So that's why I know better than to try to pick a fight or even tease violence toward a creature who very easily has an advantage over me. But then again, I'm not a damn bully. I wouldn't pick on someone who's inherently defenseless because that's a very cowardly thing to do, I think. But I don't know. I'm just thinking about the kids that I want to have in the future. And if I have a little boy, I don't want to see my boy getting beat up. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, no, I don't want him to be weak and tolerating violence just because the social construct says that, the woman this, the woman that. No, no, do not. Because I feel like by doing that, I am saying it's okay for you to constantly let women overpower you, abuse you, and probably even kill you, but do not defend yourself from them. No. Now, I don't want to. I want to also be careful because I think that it's like cops. Some cops definitely use too much force on someone they are trying to detain, whereas the situation could have been very easily handled in a less lethal way, right? So at the same time, I don't want to tell my little boy, you're very lethal, so it's okay for you to be lethal and fatally inflict a wound on someone. See what I mean? It's like, how do you even begin to balance that? So I don't know. I think I'm going to have trouble with that in the future, but hopefully my children would be able to have a school experience like mine, in which I really was never physically bullied except for one time when I was riding the bus. But other than that, it's, I don't know. I don't know. I'm worried now. I'm so scared. Um, let's see. If she has a knife or a gun, then it is a different story. Girl ripped up by Pokemon cord and pushed me, so I pushed back, got sent home for the day. So my mom took me out for ice cream and she gave the principal an earful. Rest in peace, meow. See, that's the thing. It's like, even in schools, girls get away with being bullies against men and they don't get penalized, although they are the ones starting the drama. But the boy, of course, has to be the one suffering the consequences. So no, I don't feel bad anytime that there is a story of someone getting beat up because you were picking on someone. Like if you're a bully and you get beat up, then good for you. Good for you because you have to learn somehow. You're not learning by being verbally told, hey, do not be a bully. Hey, this is why that's wrong. So maybe you just need to get punched and maybe that'll teach you a thing or two. I don't know. There's just there are people who are more easily disciplined than others. For me, I was a very easy kid to discipline. Like you would tell me something once and that's what I would remember for the rest of my life. And especially if you explain to me why something is bad for me. But I feel like some people just do not get it verbally, so maybe they have to physically suffer the consequences, even if it means pain. And that way they'll be like, oh, so that's why I don't touch a, what is it, a burner when it's glowing red, because it'll burn me. I cannot associate the fact that it's going to be hot and hot things burn. I have to feel the pain and see my skin just blistering so that it frightens me enough to comprehend that fire is a hazard. Anything that's hot and glowing red is a hazard. So people are different. I get it. So it will be a challenge to integrate yourself into a society that's very diverse like that. But at the same time, that's why I bring this question up, because I just want to be ready for when this happens to me. At the same time, me being this pro hit back in the name of defending yourself, I know that has consequences. And that's why I'm trying to find out what the proper way to balance that would be, because at this point, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure what I would do. But but at the same time, I just want for my child to be safe. Above anything else, my child will come first to me, in the same manner that to the other parent, their children will come first, even if that motherfucking child is the one starting the problem. So the parent is not going to say, oh, it is my fault because I don't discipline them properly at home. No, it's never the parent's fault. But what can I say? I just want to conduct myself in the best possible way for when that happens. And right now, I could ask my mother, of course, but she has said that she regrets telling that to my brother. Uh, After that happened to him in seventh grade, she said, no matter what it is, who it is, what shape it is, how young it is, what gender it is, you hit back. And then on another occasion, I also had a conflict when I was at a bus stop. There was this girl who was just messing with me, bullying me, bullying me. So one time she pushed me, and then I finally punched her in the face. And then we got in a fight. And then we got suspended for the rest of the school year, because this was on the last couple of weeks of school. So what the office was doing was they were not dealing with cases of ISS or OSS. They would just automatically send you to suspension at home for the rest of the year. So I said, you know what? I felt great defending myself, because in the past, what I used to do was to not get in trouble, to not get written up, to not get suspended. I would take the abuse as long as I was not feeling like I was getting killed. But that was sending the message to these losers that I'm not defending myself, so therefore it's okay to continue that. And that's when my mother finally said, you know what, just do what you see fit. Whatever it is that you do, I will support you after you explain to me what happened. And then it finally happened. I defended myself. I got suspended, but after that, nobody ever messed with me again. So, but it also probably had something to do with the fact that I was like a sixth grader. So upperclassmen for some reason just think it's cool to pick on you, even though the girl who I got in a fight with was on the same grade level as me, but she had a lot of upperclassmen influences. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's what happened. But yeah, just know. I encourage everyone to defend themselves. If she hits me and I hit her back harder, maybe she will learn not to put her hands on people. Look up videos on women hitting men, it will make you sick. I shall do that. Have you ever hit a boy? I have only hit a guy once, and it was more of a, we were having a severe disagreement, and then I was saying something, and I was being mocked for it, and I was trying to speak, and the person just kept trying to talk over me, being sarcastic, and then they were sitting right next to me, so I just went like slapped their arm, and I did it as hard as I could, and I just said, "Stop it," because I'm trying to have a serious conversation. And then, of course, the guy got upset, and he was like, "Okay, hit me again, and see what happens." And I did not hit him again because I know that he was trying to taunt me to continue that. And I'm like, if I hit you again and you hit me, I'm going to escalate this to the final consequences. And if I get killed, you're going to live with this for the rest of your life. But it was a time when I was going through very difficult times personally, and then on top of that, this person was doing this to me when I needed their fucking support. It's like, no, I need you to feel how serious I am about this situation. So yeah, that was it. After that, I said, you know what? I was wrong. I did wrong. I shouldn't have hit anybody just because they were mocking me and taunting me and like just like trying to talk over me and overpower me and everything. But at the same time, that helped me realize that I needed help controlling my anger, which was not even necessarily being triggered by them, but they were contributing to it, uh, with matters that did not have anything to do with what we were discussing at that time. It's like when you are already in a tense situation with someone and then something happens, usually the something that happens is not the the catalyst of the conflict. It's stuff has been brewing for a while and then it finally just explodes at that moment. And then the other person will interpret it as that little thing made you explode. And then I'll go like, bitch, no, this has been brewing for a while. All right. I'm not just someone who I can be sitting here just chilling and then you do something stupid and I go, ah! No, it takes more than that. So, but again, it's one of those things that, as lamentable as it was, I'm glad that it happened because it helped me realize that I needed to improve when it comes to how I deal with people who are just being annoying as hell. So I am not proud of that. That's definitely not one of my proudest moments, but at the same time, I'm glad that it ended well. I ended up apologizing. I was pretty sincere about it. I said, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm glad that you decided to not hit back because it would have been a horrible day for me. But just please don't do that again because it's very immature from you. That if you're disagreeing with something that I'm saying, just stay silent. Let me finish and then feel free to debate me. But to just mock me and like, no, that's fucking pitiful. And if I'm talking to an adult, I have expectations from you. So pretty much those little things, the fact that there was already tension, plus an adult trying to belittle me and also acting like that, it upset me because I had my expectations of them were pretty high. That's pretty much it. So yes, I have been guilty of being a violent creature, but I'm pretty certain that I would never hit anybody unless I am being hit first. And if I survive getting hit first. You know what I mean? You are right. As the imperfect humans, people take advantage of someone's weakness and capitalize on it. It's do apparent. It is so apparent everywhere in all societies. I think if a woman attacks me, I would protect myself first and not hit back, but I would tell her that if she doesn't stop, I'm going to call the cops and have her arrested for assault. See, if you're in a situation where the violence is not violent enough to where you'll be safe during most of it, then yeah, that's certainly the way to do it. Like, let the law get involved and they can deal with it, and that way you can you can be unscathed from the situation. But like, I'm not afraid of defending myself. That's all I'm saying. But ideally, that's the way to go. Let the corresponding authorities deal with it. But at the same time, the situation never goes down in the manner that you expect to resort to that. So that's what I'm worried about. What happens when dialing the cops is not an option? And sometimes it happens where the person is just absolutely like psychopathic and you just gotta do something, you know? So So, yeah. Knowing that this is society reality, I am always on the defensive side. But when I feel my life is threatened, I go for the offensive. Most definitely. Again, I think we all want to resort to that naturally. We just want to defend ourselves, but eventually you may encounter the situation where you have to be offensive, or else it may turn out bad for you. And then if it does turn out bad for you, you'll probably regret not defending yourself, as opposed to, you know what, had I defended myself, I would have not lost a goddamn eye. Or had I been more on the offensive side, the person would have stopped sooner and they would not have had a chance to, I don't know, pull out the weapon or something. See what I mean? It's, you just don't know. The circumstances are always so exclusive and unique to that moment that you just never know. You can only, in theory, explore scenarios, but each scenario will always be unique and you just never know. That's what I'm afraid of, you know? If calling the cops isn't an option, then you get out of the situation, or you can, or if you cannot, then you simply just defend yourself. Thank you. This is a great topic. Yeah, you guys. Thank you guys also for contributing. I have actually learned a few things, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I can see why. Yeah, that's why I considered it to be fascinating to discuss, because it's the stuff that no one really talks about, or some people are simply too afraid to ask about it or explore it. And then I said, I need to get this out there and just see what other people's experiences are and what other people have to say, and that way I learn, and maybe I can defend someone who I know, or someone who I know will tell me a news story, and then I'll be like, ah, you know what? There was a time I discussed this with a group, and this is what they told me, and the other person will be, oh, that makes sense. So you never know. You might be saving a life, or someone out there may be in this situation and they're doubting if they should defend themselves, and maybe we can serve as the encouragement of, you should only resort to it when it's necessary. You know, so balance that I was personally seeking. All right, you guys. Well, thanks so much for joining me. I will bail now because unfortunately I have to go. But yeah, I'm around. Just unfortunately, I don't have the time like I used to, but stuff should be getting better soon. So hopefully, I can get back to being here